Hey folks, Jimmy here, aka Palo for Dead. Welcome back to the channel and welcome to yet another video this week, as per usual with all the videos. So if you like them, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel and drop a comment down below. It's great to hear your opinions, and you're going to be wondering why you're just looking at a kind of like a grey silver table at the moment and nothing's going on. And in all honesty, it's because look what finally arrived. That's right, issue 53 Mortal Realms magazine, what I like to dub as the missing issue. It arrived only yesterday morning, and I didn't want to do a double video on Mortal Realms, so I decided to split them up into 2 days. So 53 is finally here. I'm thankful for it. It's about time it bloody turned up. I ordered it from Forbidden Planet only last week. It took them a few days to process it and get it all sent out, but it arrived pretty quickly after they had dispatched it. So if you're ever missing an issue, order it from Forbidden Planet. Very, very good. Did an absolutely spectacular job of getting it out as quickly as they could, really. So yeah, it's not bad at all. Now, of course, with this issue, we got two paints. We get Trollslayer Orange and Mournfang Brown, both very, very good paints to have. Oranges are a little bit tough to paint with sometimes, but the browns are very, very good in all honesty, and I must admit I'm quite happy to get that Mournfang Brown because mine was pretty much out at the moment, just like my Retributor armour in all honesty. Now, without further ado, let's crack on with it, shall we? So with this issue we have information to do with the cities, which of course we're going to start off with Tempest's Eye. So high above the fiery plains of the Brimstone Peninsula stands Tempest's Eye. This vast metropolis sits atop Titan Spear Mountain and acts as a watchful guardian over Akshi. Its armies of free peoples and Stormcast Eternals are ready to strike out at a moment's notice. So we're learning a bit more about some of the cities, and of course Akshi being the realm of fire, which is a pretty cool place, where most of the Fire Slayers kind of reside and stuff like that, which are Dwaradin, but very kind of like Gotrek in a lot of ways. Really, really cool stuff. You learn a bit more about the Brimstone Peninsula itself, and of course a profitable alliance which includes the Khadron Overlords, who are of course all about profit. They are your sky merchants, but they are also very formidable in battle as well, which is pretty cool. Onto the other page, it continues the Living City. So the Living City was not built by men, elves or Dwaradin, but by magic. In the early days of the Age of Sigmar, Alariel shaped this swath of forest to be a sanctuary for free peoples in the realm of life. Here mortals work alongside the tree folk of the Sylvaneth, living among branches that form natural streets and shelters. Industry in the city is focused around the hunting and trapping of wild beasts, and this trade is permitted to exist by the Sylvaneth, provided it does not disrupt the careful balance of the natural world. So, the Living City, which is in Gyron of course, and it is literally a living city. The city, every aspect of it is essentially alive in some way, of shape or form, including all the building structures, everything like that. The hunting of wildlife is permitted, but of course the rest of industry, so like the creation of forges and stuff like that, would be kind of very, very negative to do with that, because chances are it'll burn the place down, which you don't want if you're living inside wooden structures. Moving on, we have Neferata, so the Mortarch of Blood. If you're unaware about Neferata, she is a vampire. She is a vampire of the old world as well, and she has been around for quite a while. She is the Mortarch of Blood, and she is pretty cool. So it is said that all vampires are descendants of the legendary Neferata, Mortarch of Blood. Ancient, cunning, and utterly ruthless, she is the Queen of Normannia and a ruthless agent in service of Nagash. Now, a little bit to do with Neferata. She is in service of Nagash, but she also schemes quite heavily, and a lot of her schemes do not always agree with good old Nagash. So there's a bit of a love-hate relationship between them. The novel Neferata is really, really good. If you ever read any of the Warhammer Age of Sigmar novels or anything like that, read Neferata. It's a really, really good novel. I've recently gone through the Nagash book, which is also really, really good and involves Neferata quite heavily. She's so intriguing. A very, very cool character. Going into all the kind of like the lore about her and everything like that. Definitely worth a read. Definitely worth having a look at her as well. The model that you can get of Neferata as well is pretty cool. She's on Nagadron, which is the Abyssal, the Dread Abyssal that she rides. Very, very cool, and she is always surrounded by a few kind of spirits. She does have control over some of the Nighthaunt. She has her own magical abilities, and of course, being a vampire, she heals very, very fast. And she is very, very, very cunning, very, very interesting character as well with her. So she's pretty cool. Going on about moving on and going over to destruction, essentially. Gorkamorka, which is the twin-headed god, and the god that all orcs, ogres, and a lot of others tend to kind of follow. So, with Gorkamorka being powerful, unpredictable, and savage, Gorkamorka is the patron god of destruction. Since the Age of Myth, this twin-headed god has made a brutal mark upon the mortal realms, both through his followers and his own devastating rampages. So, Gorkamorka is brutal, he is cunning, but he is just brutal. There's no two ways about it. He is a twin-headed god. Both have their own aspects. So some of them are just brutal but have a little bit of cunning, and the rest are cunning but have a lot of brutalness about them. Very, very interesting and very, very cool to have a bit more information about him, because you don't see huge amounts. You just, of course, have the good old worshippers following him more than anything. For your worshippers, though, of course, you get the Weird Knob Shamans, you get Wurgog Prophets, Butchers, and Fungoid Cave Shamans as some of your main magic kind of users and wizards, which are pretty cool. Very, very interesting to see as well. And then we're going to move on to the painting section, which is, of course, because we're only getting paints, there's no proper painting section to use. Just literally you can use your paints to do this and add these textures, colours and contrasts and everything like that to your current models range that you've got. Worth having a read through, worth having a try of some of the methods. There are some that you can do slightly differently. So for instance, kind of making a rusty kind of colour on blades for like your Nighthaunt, you can use Typhon Corrosion. Now if you use Typhon Corrosion, you can use Glow Trislayer Orange or Rise of Rust over the top of it, which will give you the same kind of look of that, but it will be textured, which is both very, very effective, but I prefer having a texture over a flat paint personally. So might just be me on that one, who knows. Now it is also going to carry on with a bit of that, so using the arm and things like metals and stuff like that if you wish to make them kind of look a bit rusted. Up to you if you want to do that, of course. And then moving on to using some other bits and pieces and to kind of neatening up your Nighthaunts and everything like that. So using Nilic Oxide, for instance, Celia Green Shade if you wish to kind of bulk out and add definition to certain parts of ghosts, and then using other bits and pieces like the Dreadwarden's Candle Flames, so using your Trollslayer Orange and Brown and your Warhammer Brown as well as a Baden Black to kind of get a nice flame kind of look to them if you wish to. Things like vines as well on certain models and bases, which can be used very, very handily. You've got a lot of options to do and a lot of ways that you can do it if you wish to. Worth having a read through and having a look at how you can use the two new paints to amplify what you've already done. But again, it's always entirely up to you. Moving on from there, we have more information about a realm. So this is part 2 of Realm of Metal, so Shaman. Each realm of battle, of course, has its own realmscape features and effects that terrain on your battlefield. Every terrain feature gains transmutative lands rule for battles in the realm of metal, which is pretty cool, so you can kind of change things up a little bit. Adds more rules to your games, worth having a read through and making sure you get a bit of understanding about them and how they can kind of work in your favour and everything like that. Your battle plan, you've got the breakthrough, which is pretty cool, and he's a pretty decent battle plan as well. He goes through a lot of it, so you've got to push your Taunt and your Stormcast Eternals, because that's all we get. But if you want to do this, you need the Execution Horde, which is a Lord Executioner and Spirit Hosts. 2 lots of 10 Chain Rasps, deploy them how you want. Both Dreadblade Harrows and then the Knight of Shrouds on the Ethereal Steed, going up against your Stormcast Eternals of Lord Arcanum on Gryph-Charger, 3 Gryph-Hounds, 4 Liberators, 3 Prosecutors, 5 Secretors, and the Knight Azeroth as well. So you can get a lot going. The way this battle plan kind of works as well is you have Stormcast spawning in from a small section at the bottom of the middle mat, and then both Nighthawks coming in from the side, which is pretty cool and pretty different as well. Before we move on to, of course, what's going on, because there's no point in looking at that, we did get a pull-out page for the Realm of Chaos. So of course, the Realm of Chaos being filled with demons, demonic hosts and everything like that. So you have, of course, Khorne, Tzeentch, Nurgle and Slaanesh. Very cool models that are shown in there. So you've got things like the Exalted Flamers, Heralders, you've got Bloodmasters, you've got the Fleshhounds, Poxbrinders, you have Fiends of Slaanesh if you wish to have Fiends, as well as the Keeper of Secrets, which is a pretty huge model and it's really, really cool. And of course then you have more bits on the back, so Slaanesh's domain, Nurgle's domain, Khorne's domain, and of course Tzeentch's domain, and it's all about the Great Dane. So, of course, Chaos being Chaos is chaotic. Talking of Chaos, there is also going to be a new model which of course they finally showed off, which is Be'lakor. Be'lakor is coming. A new Be'lakor model which looks pretty cool, a lot bigger as well. Be'lakor being one of the demon princes and one of the most ferocious demons. Really, really cool stuff. So if you like Chaos, look out for the Be'lakor model. Now, that's it for this week for Mortal Realms. There may be other videos, who knows, you never know where it's going this week. Thank you very much for watching though, but for what I can imagine, we won't go back until next week now. And yeah, I will see you soon. Bye bye now.